Hey guys, today we're going to work on a Photoshop project and we are going to be creating a collage. So what I need you to do is to go ahead and open up Photoshop. You're going to do that by going to your Z links at the very top and you're going to double click Adobe Photoshop right here. Once it loads, you're going to go ahead and click New. And let's go ahead and call this collage. And you can choose whether you want it to be a landscape or if you want it to be a portrait. This setting right here, you want it in inches, not in pixels, and you want the resolution to be 300. That's always the recommended resolution, is 300 pixels per inch. Color mode, we're going to want it to be in CMYK so that you can print it if you want to print it, and background is white. Let's go ahead and click OK. Alright, so now that we have this document open, I'm going to go ahead and show you a couple things that I think you'll need to see. If you go to Window, open up Layers. Layers is important, and this should be kind of familiar to you from Illustrator, but Layers is all the different sections that you can put your artwork. So now that we have this, we're going to make a collage. So this collage should be something that's personal to you. You want to aim to have about maybe I'd say like 6 to 8 pictures that represent yourself. And if you have a picture of yourself or anything from your phone, add that in as well. So to show you what to do, I'm going to go ahead and open up a couple images myself. And let me see if I have any pictures that I can put. Well, actually, let's backtrack on that for a second. Let's look. I'm going to open up Google and I want to show you how to collect images. So you're going to go to Google. And let's say we're going to type in fish. I'm going to go to Google Images for fish. And I'm going to go to Settings. What I want to do is go to Advanced Search. And I want to look for anything that is a JPEG. So down here under File Type, I want to switch it to JPEG Files. And I'm going to do Advanced Search. Okay, now it brings up, everything that brings up here should be a JPEG. It doesn't mean you're going to be able to open up everything because sometimes it has like embedded links to it and Photoshop won't recognize it, but I'm going to go with this. Let's say I click on this clownfish and I want this one. I can go to Save Image As, and clownfish JPEG is fine. I'm just going to save it on my desktop and hit Save. And let's do it for one more picture. Let's say I'm going to get this pufferfish. Actually, I don't know if that's called a pufferfish. Save Image As, and oh, it is. I was right. Pufferfish, JPEG. Good. All right. For you guys, you might want to create a folder inside your student folder called Collage or something like that, and start setting aside pictures that you want to use. Okay, now that I have some pictures, I'm going to go back to Photoshop. So here, right here, is kind of like what would be your artboard in Illustrator. This is your document. This is your background. I'm going to go ahead and go to File, Open. I hit the wrong thing. Hang on. File, Open. And I'm going to find my clownfish, and I'm going to click Open. Let's go ahead and open my pufferfish as well, although I didn't see that just a minute ago. Let's see. Here it is, pufferfish, and open. Okay, once these two are open, now I can go back to my collage document. All right, I want to bring this picture in. So right here is your Move tool, and what you're going to do is to click on the picture you want. And if you're on your Move tool, you can click and drag it up into your collage and bring it back down. See that little plus symbol? Once you're back on the white area, let go, release, and you now have your picture inside your collage. And you'll notice over here that it made a different layer. So I'm going to double click this and just put fish. Okay, let's say I wanted to make this picture bigger. I could go to Edit, and I can go to Transform, and I can go to Scale. I can also rotate, skew, distort. You can do all kinds of things. Flip horizontal, flip vertical. But for scale, it's going to give me this. If you want it to be proportional, you need to hold down the Shift key, just like in Illustrator, and drag till you get it larger. Notice how it looks really pixelated and kind of gross. It will do that because it's just a preview until you hit enter, and then it'll sharpen it back up again. All right, options from here. If I wanted this whole picture, I could leave it as this whole picture. I could come into the eraser tool and I can erase away parts of the picture, what I don't want. So I could erase everything but the fish, or I could do something else. If I went back to this fish right here, I could use one of these selection tools. So if you click on a selection tool, the lasso tool allows you to free draw what you want to move, and then you can pick it up and move it into your collage. Again, anytime you move a picture in, it creates a new layer. Or, like let's say I don't want this layer, I'm going to drag it into the trash can because I don't want it. I'm going to go back to my clownfish. Once you have something selected, to deselect it, you just go to, hang on a second, I was going to say, select, deselect, or Control D is the shortcut for that. Besides the lasso tool, if you click and hold or right click on it, you can go to like the magnetic lasso tool, which allows you, it sticks as you click every so often, it sticks to the edges of your object that you're selecting, in this case a fish. So here I am. This one is a really good one to use, and there's a couple other options as well. So here I am just clicking along as I want it to go. And when I get to the end and you see that little circle that appears, see it? That tells you that it's going to close it. And I'm going to go back to my move tool because you can't move anything without your move tool. Click it, drag it up to my collage, and bring it back down. I now have my clownfish all by itself, which is really cool. So instead of the background, I can have just the clownfish as itself. Let's go back to the clownfish. I want to deselect this, so I can do Control D, or I can go to Select, Deselect. And let's try a different selection tool. So those are right there. Let's go to, oops. Sorry, if you got this random thing going on, if you double click, it'll do a selection. You can do Control D. Okay, so the next thing that I want to show you guys is the quick selection tool. So underneath the quick selection tool, you have magic wand and you have quick selection. Quick selection works like a brush, so you can select the size up here, and as you click and drag, it selects pretty quickly for you. It's not perfect because it doesn't get everything, but it selects pretty quickly. If you want to add to this selection, I like to go back to the lasso tool, and same as in Illustrator, Control plus will zoom in, Control minus will zoom out. And if you hold down the Shift key, it adds a little plus sign, and you can just free draw what you want to add in. And let's say, you got too much. If you hold down the Alt key, it turns it to a minus, and you can turn around and take away that area, okay? And then you can drag that into your collage. That's the basics for making a collage. So really you want to gather maybe 6 to 8 pictures, things that represent you. I meant to tell you that you can do a background color if you want to. Let's say, just like in Illustrator, you can actually choose a shape and you can fill that shape. And same way as Illustrator, you choose the fill color, stroke, and you can complete it. But again, just like in Illustrator, unless it's a bottom layer, which this one is, it will cover up over everything else. So if this was above the fish, you wouldn't see part of it, but because we put it in the background, now we've got this background area. So have fun with it. Create a collage, something that represents yourself. You can add text by using the type tool right here and changing your font and your size. Those are the basics right now of what you need to know in order to make a collage. All right, let me know what questions you have, and make sure you save everything inside your student folder and save often.